Hello and welcome to the Forces Sports Show, your weekly roundup of the best action and biggest stories from across the services, coming up in the next half hour. Taking first place, the Army Medical Services celebrate rugby success in the Akrotiri Tens. Targeting a first Olympics, Army boxer Nati Ngwenya tells us about his dream to reach Tokyo. And first time out, we're with the Armed Forces Rally team on their season debut in Cumbria. We start with rugby in Cyprus. The Army Medical Services team ran out winners in this year's Akrotiri Tens tournament. 7 teams battled it out in the competition, with ex-England international Matt Dawson on hand to present the winning trophies. Simon Newton watched the action.
It may have been a rugby tournament, but pre-match entertainment at the Aki Tens came courtesy of another sport, with the station's newly formed field gun team showing off its skills to the watching crowd. 7 teams competed in this year's event, and after a week of group games came the 2 finals. The plate was an all-army affair, with 2 Royal Anglians, the Poachers, taking on a UK-based team from 11 Explosive Ordnance Disposal Regiment. This ended up a very one-sided affair, with the Poachers dominating from the whistle. By the end of the first half, they'd run in 7 tries, number 11 Private Stuart Hyde scoring 3 of them. The battalion's CO, Lieutenant Colonel Bruce Weston, was also among the scorers. 11 EOD had no reply, and with another 2 tries and a conversion in the second half, the Poachers completed a demolition job, running out victors by 58 points to 0.
Yeah, we had a game plan just to play how we've been training, control the game, which we did. We know when we control the game and we give the ball to our backs, they're devastating on what they can do, and that's what happened. We proved it on the pitch.
The cup final lineup was exactly as many had predicted at the start of the Aki Tens. Top seeds and 2015 and 16 winners Army Medical Services in yellow, facing last year's champions RAF Akrotiri Flamingos. Both teams had notched up big wins on their way to the final, touching down more than 40 tries during their 6 group games. They'd also met before in the earlier rounds, AMS winning that one by a small margin of 10 points to 7. The home side were first to score through Corporal Adams Self, but AMS responded with 2 tries. And by the break, the medics were ahead 10 points to 12. The second half was something of a nail-biter, with AMS's captain extending their lead early on. But the Flamingos weren't done yet. Corporal Paul Butterley smashing away several would-be tacklers to make it over the try line.
So still 17-15 with minutes to go.
But the RAF team didn't manage to take advantage and convert, and soon the away side sealed it, with Captain Bart van Hervenen running in his second try of the game, as AMS regained the Aki Tens title, 22 points to 15. A World Cup winner, no less, on hand to present them with the trophy.
Tough. Probably the toughest game I've played so far. I mean, both teams went at it, and I think we were obviously we were definitely the better team. I mean, I think we showed that. But I've got to give credit to them because they played really well, and especially considering we had to score a last minute try as well in there. But yeah, definitely enjoyed it in the most enjoyable game I've played.
This was the Aki Tens' 33rd year, and despite it being a much smaller tournament than usual, the rugby was still highly competitive. Each game hard fought, and victory just as sweet.
Boys!
The Forces boxing season is coming to a close, but several Army athletes are already looking to the future. One of them is hard-hitting heavyweight Nati Ngwenya. The Lance Corporal in the Grenadier Guards says it's a key time for him, with ambitions of the Tokyo Olympics and even the professional ranks on his mind. He's been telling me how the Army's setup has contributed to his success.
We've got the privilege of training, full time, the whole year, 3 sessions every day. And there's been a lot of change on the team, in terms of physiotherapist, our strength and conditioning coach. We've got psychologists now, and we've got a technical coach, which is Ben Stewart from GB, helping us out. He's brought in his knowledge from where he's been, from his past experiences, and I think it's working a treat because everyone is learning and improving.
Yeah, tell us about the sports psychologist, because people think you just get into the ring and just go for it, but there's much more to it. There's tactics.
Oh yeah, most definitely. So we've done it a couple of times now, but I found it to help because you can get to reflect. They ask you how you feel before the bout and how you feel after the bout. Anything that you picked up, anything that you could have done different, and it's quite an eye opener to the things that you tend to pick up, but if not asked about it, you wouldn't reflect on it. And it'll be the psychologist, the head coach in there as well, so they're taking all the knots down. And when we're doing individual pads, you get to work on things that you thought you messed up the last time, and you learn from there. Got GB down the road, or turning professional, who knows?
If somebody came in now and said, look, come on box with GB, would you? Is that something that excites you?
In a heartbeat. I'd do that in a heartbeat, because GB is the pinnacle of amateur boxing and everyone wants to be there.
And of course, from there, you sort of, once you're in, perhaps do you dare dream about the Olympics?
Yeah, I do. There's a little bit of time gap because they've got their own boxes that are picked at the moment, people that are filled in the gaps, and to wait on the next cycle, time waits for no man. Do you know what I mean? I'm getting older as it is. I'm 28 at the minute, and if I do miss these next Olympics, which are 2020, I'll be 30, and then to wait for the next cycle, I'll be like 34. I know most heavyweights and cruiserweights, that's where you're at your peak in your 30s, but if I do miss these ones, I'll turn professional, because it's something that I look to pursue. It's not just training for me, it's a way of life, and I would like to get in the pro ranks and make something of myself.
And of course, already one of your teammates, Chairs, has done the same, hasn't he? He sort of left the army team to look to go professional. Yeah,
he's looking to do that. I think he's in the process now. I think he's just gone back to work for a bit, sort out his army career, which I'm doing as well after the Tri-Nations. I'm going back to work, go back and do juniors. So I got to keep the balance, between my army career and my sporting career.
Meanwhile, fellow army boxers Ebony Jones and Karis Artingstall have arrived in Bulgaria ahead of the Women's European Boxing Championships. The service women make up a strong Great Britain squad looking to build on success at the Commonwealth Games. Jones, a sapper serving with the Royal Engineers, recently took gold for England at the European Under-22 tournament. She's boxing at bantamweight in Sofia. Royal Artillery gunner Artingstall makes her GB debut as she goes for glory in the featherweight division. A good display in Bulgaria will be a boost ahead of the World Championships later in the year and Olympic qualification, which gets underway in 2019. The Army's cricketers continued their preparations for this year's Inter-Services T20 Championship with a thumping win against the Fire Service. The Army beat their opponents by 91 runs in Aldershot. The Army enjoyed a bright start against the Fire Service, with opener Jordan Ralph looking comfortable at the crease. The Lancashire lad gave his opponents plenty to think about as he put their bowling attack to the sword. It wasn't long before teammate Graham Wiseman joined him in the willow wielding and the score motored along. But just as it was looking a little too trouble-free, Ralph dollied one into the clutches of Ross Allen from Steve Kirkham's bowling, and the Army were 49 for 1. Enter the fray the big-hitting Tade Carmichael. He wasted little time before blitzing the ball to the boundary. The Grenada-born powerhouse plays high-risk cricket, and he almost cut short his innings, only to see Michael Ponter fail to bag an easy catch. Midway through their 20 overs, Wiseman's impressive knock came to an end just shy of his half-century, with the Army now 90 for 2. However, it was Carmichael who stole the show as he continued to punish the firemen's bowlers. By the time he was out, he'd made 62 from just 34 balls and helped the Army put on 180. Boynton and Ross plundered further runs towards the end as the Army marched towards a target of 200. Ross was to fall final ball of the innings, but the military men had set their opponents a target of 197 to win, a score that would prove well beyond the firemen's reach. The replies stuttered from the start as Ben Gold saw off Jack Williams thanks to Spicer Narian's smart catch with just 6 runs on the board. Connor Bowden claimed Adam Cook's wicket as the fire service slumped to 19 for 2. The one thumbs down, or rather finger at a jaunty angle, on an otherwise solid display was the injury to bowler Tommy Jones. In an attempt to stop a shot, he'd dislocated a digit. Thankfully, the Army physio was on hand to pop his pinky back into place. As for the match, that petered out with the firemen well short of the required total, but there are more testing opponents to come as Lords looms large on the horizon.
We've got Gloucester to come and Hampshire second 11, which is going to be really, really good. And there's N2 fixtures, so play up to that, play as well as we can do, and then see what we've got against the big boys.
The Inter-Services T20 title will be decided at the home of cricket on June the 14th. The Armed Forces Rally Team have started their campaign for this year. They've been taking on a tricky course at the Pirelli Rally in Cumbria. The Carlisle-based Pirelli Rally is popular for professional drivers and those taking part in the Armed Forces Rally Championship. The gravelled tracks test competitors' skills behind the wheel to the maximum. There are many fresh faces in the Armed Forces team this year. Remy man Rob Barr and co-driver Keith Harvey from the Queen's Royal Hussars look to navigate the early stages of the event without incident. Conditions out on the 85-mile-long course was causing plenty of problems. Kevin Horgan and Liam Foy in their Skoda Fabia found themselves bogged down after taking a slight detour. Where is a Land Rover when you need one? Alas, the recovery landy was busy, helping the stricken military pair of Tyrone Westall and Alice Bancroft.
We've come on stage 2, we're going pretty fast, we're about a couple of miles in. We've covered a fairly tight 6 left. And as we've put the power down, we've come in up the top of the hill, and it's just got onto the marble slightly, off the side of the road, and try getting the power down to get out of it. And well, that's the end result of it all. So absolutely gutted to be out of this stage, but you learn from it. And I think next time we'll come back fighting stronger.
The Pirelli is such an attritional rally. Service Director Ray Wilmot had a busy time keeping the rest of the force's crews in the race. The leading drivers made light work of some of the stages, hoping to top the podium. For the Royal Air Force pair, Chris McCarthy and Barry Connolly, it was a quest for victory in class and to gain points in the Armed Forces Championship table. Having fixed an earlier electrical fault that was costing them valuable minutes, John Gage and Billy Norton started to clock consistent times. But it was civilian pair Ian and Francis Sykes who took the class win in their Freelander. However, it was McCarthy and Connolly who were the first Forces pair home. A reliable ride saw them take maximum points in the Forces title race. The others were just pleased to make it home, delighting team director Alan Paramore, who praised the crews on their efforts, especially as it was the opening race of the season.
This is a big ask for the novice crews of the Armed Forces Rally Team to be put into the Pirelli International Rally here in Kielder Forest as the first ever event.
So, after the visitors enjoyed their enthusiastic champagne moment, there was a chance to reflect on their performance.
I think we were pretty committed all day. Felt we were quite fast.
A bit too committed at one point.
Yeah, but so be it. Luckily we had everyone else to help us out. Yeah, absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, really happy.
Focus now switches to other highlights in the year, including the Goodwood Festival of Speed. Staying with motorsport, and a group of ex-servicemen are hoping to become the first all-disabled team to race on the famous Le Mans circuit in France. Rosie Layden caught up with Team Brit on a motivational visit to the Defence Medical Rehabilitation Centre at Headley Court in Surrey.
Burning rubber in his 3.4-litre Aston Martin, Warren McKinley is one of the Team Brit drivers who will be taking on the Le Mans circuit.
This car's fantastic to drive. it's a different level from where we were driving in the Fun Cup cars. So this has got bags and bags of power, loads of grip and really good brakes. It's a fantastic piece of machinery.
A former mechanic with the Royal Electrical and Mechanical Engineers, a motorcycle accident in 2005 left Warren with a broken back, broken pelvis and a traumatic brain injury.
Myself, because of my brain injury, I struggle to get information to stay in my head. Once it's in there, it's fine, but it's just... so I use a simulator, and so before I get to Le Mans, I will have done at least 20 hours on the circuit, driving round and around on the simulator to build a track map in my head.
And Team Brit's visit to Headley Court is all about inspiring those currently going through treatment.
This is what this day is all about, is to show that the guys who are just starting the process of rehabilitation, regardless of their injuries, that if they push themselves and find that inner strength and keep pushing themselves, they will achieve, and they can achieve beyond their wildest dreams. And these guys are just an example of what they can do.
Former Army engineer Ashley Hall had to have his legs amputated when he was hit by a homemade bomb in Afghanistan in 2010. Another one of Team Brit's drivers, he uses specially developed hand controls at the wheel.
As a driver with no legs, obviously, I don't use conventional pedals. I use the hand controls that were developed at Team Brit. These consist of pedals at the back, an accelerate and a brake, and then an upshift and downshift on either side. So it's all the controls that you would normally need, but everything is on one steering wheel. You know, coming from a PlayStation era, it's quite easy to get used to buttons and that being on a steering wheel. So it doesn't take a huge amount of time to get your head around the fact that, you know, your throttle's over here and your brake's here.
Ash spent 7 years at Headley Court in and out of rehab.
It's good to come back as a different person than when I left, definitely. Being part of a team again, like I said, is a big part of my life, team sports, and you know, obviously continuing that on from leaving the army.
This year will be the first time Team Brit attempt the legendary course at Le Mans, but their ultimate goal is to enter the punishing 24-hour endurance race Le Mans is famous for. And perhaps today's visit will inspire some of those who are just at the beginning of their recovery to join them.
The Combined Services Shinty team are making an appeal to attract more people to the sport. Players from all over the UK travel to Scotland to take part, but their military commitments mean it's a struggle to make the numbers. David McCann went to watch their latest match.
It's fast and can get quite furious. The Combined Services Shinty team want more players to help them fulfil their fixtures. Members are based across the UK, and their armed forces commitments mean getting enough players for match days can be a challenge. The sport is mostly played north of the border and is a cross between field hockey, ice hockey and lacrosse.
Trying everything we can, we're putting it out there on our own Facebook page, you know, word of mouth, TV, anything we can do, we're trying to actively encourage and recruit players because it's a great sport.
The Camanachd Scots travelled to Fife to take on Aberdour in their latest match in the Bullock Cup. And things got off to a good start for the visitors, Colin Irving putting them 1-0 up just before half-time. But a defensive mix-up shortly after the break allowed Chris Bowerman to level the score. The Armed Forces side continued pressing the hosts, and Irving's determination was rewarded as he claimed his second of the match. Camanachd then extended their lead even further, this time Gregor Cameron's strike finding Aberdour's net. Neil Watson then set up Cameron for his second and to complete a 4-1 win.
I think it's just the luck of the draw really. We dug in and played well and done what we trained to do and just dug in at the end and done it.
The victory sees Camanachd into the next round of the Cup, where they will face Cals Athletic on the 16th of June.
The Army Tug of War Championships have been held for the first time in Germany. 9 teams battled it out in the 34-degree heat, including the Royal Air Force, making their first overseas appearance. The eventual winners at Gütersloh, the home of 2-6 Regiment Royal Artillery, were another team of gunners, 5 Regiment Royal Artillery. And that is it for this week. Don't forget, you can see all the action as we get it on forces.net and this show and more on YouTube. We'll leave you with an unusual workout for these field gun crews at HMS Collingwood.